Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alfred Akpesi and I'm a learning coach. Simply put, I make learning easy for students, for workers, and people who are interested in learning a skill. How? By giving them scientific proven method to enhance their learning ability and memory capacity. So definitely, if you follow me, your memory and your performance academically in learning anything will never remain the same. So today quickly, I'm about to tell you about levels of students according to performance. So let's get into it, right? So we have four types of students according to performance. Number one, we have the below average students. Two, we have the average students. And three, we have the high performance students. And four, we have the top 1% students, aka genius. I'm part of them, by the way. So please stay with me. Now, what is the profile of a student who is below average? Let me discuss that quickly with you before I let you go. Now, simply, a below average student, most of how they think is this: they read more to perform better. Meanwhile, what usually happens is that when they read more, they actually have lesser results. And it's simply because of two reasons. Number one, they have poor academic background. Do you understand? So if you don't know how to read ABCD, you might probably don't know how to read English. You get my point. And then number two, they lack what I call learning skills or study skills. So because of these two reasons, what usually happens is that they practice what I call rote repetition. They just study like default people, engaging in more hard reading, thinking if they can do that, they might probably have a good result. And it's not always so. So what usually happens is that if they have a bad result, they increase their time of study. If they have a bad result, they increase their time of study. So as they increase in year of school, their time also increase. So maybe in year one they read for 1 hour, in year two they will read for 2 hours, year three they will read for 3 hours, year four they will read for 4 hours. It's almost impossible. Guess what? And their results don't even get better. So that's how a below average student behave. Why? Because they have poor academic background, and two, they have low, they don't, in fact they don't even have study technique at all. So let's move to number two. The number two is average students. Yes, these guys, this is where most people are. In fact, if not 50% of the students. What do I mean by that? Simple. These guys, they read more to perform better, and it works for them. You see, so if they want to perform better in their tests and exams, what happens is that they engage in hard work, they read more, they spend till they do TDB till they break reading just to have a better result. And it's not always like that. No, never. It's not always like that. But that's how they know how to read. And these people, they actually have good memory. They can retain information because they are usually gifted by God. What they usually lack is that they lack a study technique that will give them that high performance they are looking for. And two, they also lack practice. They don't know how to practice this technique that will help them. They might not necessarily be having all these memory techniques, all these study skills that will help them, but they have good memory. And because they put in the hard work, they see some results that gives them average result. Although it's not the best, but they see average result and they are okay with it. Although most people are not okay with it, they really want to become better, but that is all they can afford right now. Now we'll move to the next one called high performance student. This high performance student, this is where the distinction student lies. So if you want to be part of them, please share your profile so that you will know what to do. Number one, they have good study skills or good learning skills. They have been able to practice appropriately, and they have good memory technique, they have good reading technique, and they have been able to produce the results that they have been looking for. Now these people also have good memory, not because they put in or they learned study skills, but because they were gifted by God. Do you understand? Now this set of people, their graph is looking different. Although they increase their time of study to learn, but it is not as much as the average student or the below average student does. So maybe an average student will spend 2 hours in class to learn. A high performance student might spend 1 hour 30 minutes to learn. However, what is different between them is that the technique they use to learn is what determines the result. Because don't forget, in exams and tests, what they usually do is to test your ability to recall. So high performance students, they have a good ability to recall. They have practiced this memory technique, and they are good. They are very good in performing well. Why? Because they have good memories naturally, but they have also take it a step further. How? By adding learning skills to themselves. Do you understand? Now let's move to the last one, which is my favorite. It's called the top 1% students. This is actually special, by the way. Most people don't know it, but I pray you understand what I'm trying to say now. Okay, now for the top 1% students is a little bit different. I will draw the graph for you so that you understand. Now, these people, they have a different way of thinking, because of course they are gifted by God, but that's not where it stopped, because that's what you are allowed to see. Most genius, they were not even given birth to as genius. Have you heard of Richard Feynman, the Feynman technique? He was not a genius, he was born as a natural man. Same thing with Albert Einstein. But guess what? They began to adopt some techniques in reading, in studying, in learning things that made them top 1% students. So I'm going to tell you briefly what they did so that you'll be able to become someone like them. Because I remember when I was in school, I think I read most in 200 level, but as I go higher, 300, 400, in fact in 500 level, I think I read for only tests and exams, and I still performed well. If you have not seen that video, look, I'll go and watch it. How I graduated as the top student in my class, and I'm telling you how I did it. It's because of what I'm about to tell you now. Now, most geniuses, listen to me. What they do is that in year one, they spend more time reading. So unlike the average student or the high performance student, in year one, when the note is not bulky, you can see them spending like 5 hours in class reading. And then in year two, they can read for 4 hours. In year three, they read for 2 hours. In year four, they read for 1 hour. Are you getting my point? Now, why do they do that? Because they understand one thing. They know that if you want to build a building, the most important part of that building is the foundation. Because how high that building will be is determined by the foundation. So if the foundation is deep enough, then that building can be as high as it wants to be. Do you understand? That's why they are top 1%. So because they understood this thing, that whatever I am going to be taught in year 2 and year 3, it will just be a build up on what I've learned in year 1. So what they do is that they make sure that they have good understanding, they have excellent understanding of what they have been taught, unlike the below average students who have poor academic background. An excellent student, a high performance student, and the top 1% student, they have excellent academic background. That's why they can perform at a level that they can. Most people don't believe this, but your foundation is what determines how much information you can hold. Do you understand? So that's the difference between the four types of students, the four levels of students according to performance. So don't forget, we have the below average, we have the average, we have the high performance, and we have the top 1% students, right? Yeah. Now let me tell you how to move from the top 1%, from the, what are they calling it? From the below average to the top 1%. Now, don't forget, the top 1%, they do some particular things. That is what makes them different. But it is not only in what they do, it is also in what they think and who they are and who they believe they are. Now, for you to move from from a below average student to an average student are two things. Don't forget, the problem with below average students is that they have poor academic background, and they lack study skills. They don't even know it at all. That's the difference. So if as a below average student you want to become better, this is what you do. If you don't know ABCD, you won't be able to read. If you are not able to read, you will not be able to write your own stories. Do you get it? So as a below average student, your problem is not what you have been taught here. It's what you don't know when you were there. So I will advise you to go back to your foundation. Go and lay the foundation. You will not be able to understand pharmacology if you don't understand physiology. You will not be able to understand physiology if you don't understand biology. You will not be able to understand biology if your basic science is having issues. Did you see it? If you don't know how to write letters, it's because you don't know how to construct good sentences. Do you understand? So for you to move from a below average student to an average student, you need to fix what I call your foundation problem, go and fix it. Then number two, go and know about study skills, learning skills to improve yourself. The moment you can do this, I guarantee you, you will move to become an average student. Now, if you're an average student and you want to move to high performance student, this is what you're going to do. Go and start practicing study skills. There are skills that can 10x your performance in class. There are skills that can 10x your studying, your studies. You can perform better than you are right now. You don't just know how your brain functions. If you know how your brain functions and read in accordance with that, you'll be able to perform at an excellent level. So what am I trying to say? I'm saying that go and practice study skills. Go and learn about learning how to learn. If you can do that, you will notice something that you begin to change from one level to another. Do you understand? That is where the main problem is. And a lot of time, average students don't usually have discipline. They lack time management. They have poor time management. And that's bad. That's one thing that keep all these high performance students and top 1% students exceptional. Those guys are very disciplined. It may appear as if they are not reading, but that's a lie. They do read, but they read at a time that they know that is better for them. Do you understand? So I'll say it again. As an average learner, you want to become better. What are you supposed to do? Go and practice learning skills. Go and read about effective reading technique. If you don't know how to do that, don't worry, I will teach you. Go and practice memory techniques that will 10x your memory capacity. Do you understand? That's what takes you from an average student to where? To a high performance student. Do you get it? Now, if you are a high performance student and you want to move higher to a top 1% student, what are you supposed to do? Well, this one is very easy. So let me tell you. It will shock you that the difference between the top 1% student and the high performance student is not in what they do. I'm telling you, it's not in what they do. It's not in the memory technique per se. It's not in the reading technique or in the study technique. It's not in the discipline. It's actually a mindset thing. Yeah, I've been there before. When I was in 400 level, I was the top graduate student in my class, and then something started messing up with my brain. It was a mindset. It was a mindset. Now this is it. What do I mean? A genius don't believe he can fail. A genius don't believe there is something that is hard for him. A genius don't believe there is nothing he cannot solve. Whenever he sees a problem, it is an opportunity to upgrade his mind. Do you understand? Do you actually believe you can be a genius? Let's assume I have this book with me here. If I say, can you read this book once, write an exams and pass it excellently, can you? It's a matter of mindset. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a mindset thing. You already have good reading technique. You already have good memorization technique. What is the problem? Is the mindset. You don't actually believe you can perform better, and that's what differentiates between the geniuses and the high performance students. Do you get what I'm trying to say? The number two things that differentiate the high performance students and the top 1% students is knowledge-based steps. Knowledge-based steps. I'll say it again. Knowledge-based steps. Let me tell you what genius. If I'm a genius, what I will do. Let me tell you. Now, there are three things that they do. Whenever they learn something, they apply it. The top 1% students, whenever they learn something, they apply it. Whenever they learn something, they use that thing they have learned to create something else. Do you understand? That knowledge, they must be able to translate it into something they can do, can use to improvise and form something else. Do you understand? And then three, what they have learned in class. This one is very important. They learn it in another way. So it means they have a different understanding from what has been taught. Do you get it? That's what geniuses do. So I've told you how to shift from the below average to where? To top 1%. If you are a below average student, what you need to do is to work on your foundation. Go and start studying. Learn about learning. Do you understand? If you're an average student, what are you supposed to do? Start practicing what? Learning skills. Thank you. And then if you want to move to a high performance student, is practicing skills. As a high performance student, you want to move to a genius, what are you supposed to do? Very, very easy. Your mindset, because you already know all these study skills. Is your mindset. Your mindset is all that is needed. So please like and subscribe and hit the notification button. If you have any questions to ask, please feel free to ask and I will answer you. Do you get it? Thank you for watching.